Okay, so here's what happened the night, literally the night, that President Obama was sworn in as President of the United States. January 20th, 2009, 14 Republican leaders from Congress. Paul Ryan, who's running for vice president right now. Eric Cantor, who yesterday gave a talk, introduced Mitt Romney talking about how he loves bipartisanship. The House Whip. Kevin McCarthy, Republican from California. Pete Sessions, Republican from Texas. Jeb Hensarling, Republican from Texas. Pete Hoekstra, Republican from Michigan. Dan Lundgren, Republican from California. Jim DeMint, Senator, now the followers are senators. Jim DeMint, Senator from South Carolina, Republican. John Kyle, Republican from Arizona. Tom Coburn, Republican from Oklahoma. John Ensign, Republican from Nevada. And Bob Corker, the Republican from Tennessee. Along with them, Newt Gingrich and Frank Luntz. These guys had a 4-hour private room, invitation-only meeting the night that the rest of us were going to inaugural balls all around this city. I was at the one at Union Station here. Tip of the hat and many thanks to Ellen Ratner for making that possible. The Talk Radio News Service got us tickets. And that night, these guys were sitting in the Caucus Room restaurant, this restaurant right around the corner from the back end of the building that Louise and I used to live in, just a few blocks from where we are now. It's over at the corner of 9th and D. It's a very, very fancy, schmancy, upscale, very, very expensive restaurant. It's where the lobbyists go to hang out, basically, and the members of Congress. Louise and I used to walk by there every night, on our way home, and frequently saw members of Congress being walked out so drunk that they could, had to be carried, basically. Actually, I can honestly say every single person I saw in that condition being carried out of the Caucus Room restaurant was a Republican. I'm not going to name names, but we've seen them. In any case, these 14 Republicans got together with Paul Ryan and Eric Cantor and swore a blood oath that they were going to do everything they could. Now, keep in mind, at this point in time, the economy was losing 800,000 jobs a month. The stock market was down around 6,000 or 7,000. It's at 13,000 now. We were sliding into a Great Depression, and not just the United States, the entire world was following us. And they swore an oath to each other to be the obstructionists. As Pete Sessions, who was there, went on to say in an interview in March, just a couple months later with the National Journal, a right-wing national journal, this would be like the Taliban insurgency. He said, we need to understand that Taliban insurgency may be required when dealing with the other side, when dealing with Democrats. We will have become the insurgency. I think insurgency is a mindset, Congressman Sessions says. Representative Kevin McCarthy, who was there, says, we've got to challenge them on every single bill. Show united and unyielding opposition to the president's economic policies. These are guys, all of them, every single one of these 14 Republican legislators had voted yes to the Bush-Cheney 2008 Bear Stearns, or stimulus, excuse me. They had voted yes to bailing out Bear Stearns. They had voted yes on bailing out AIG. They had voted yes on the 2008 September TARP, Bush-Cheney TARP, and they had voted yes on the Bush-Cheney October TARP. So it wasn't like they were afraid to spend money to save the economy. They had been doing it. They had been trying to do it under the previous few months of the Bush administration, but they swore to each other they would not do it under the Obama administration. Every one of these senior members now have threatened to shut down the government over the debt ceiling. They have filibustered more than 300 bills in Congress. Every single one of them said no to Al Franken's anti-rape amendment, to the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, to the Lilly Ledbetter Equal Pay Act, to the Fair Pay Act, to an anti-outsourcing bill. They all said no to it. Paul Ryan, Eric Cantor, Kevin McCarthy, Pete Sessions, Jeb Hensarling, Pete Hoekstra, and Dan Lundgren. This from the Keep 'em Honest's post over at the Daily Kos back on June 8th, if you want to find it in the archives. All of those guys voted no on every single piece of legislation, including increasing FEMA's budget when there are natural disasters. I mean, they were willing to bring the country to its knees over natural disasters to stop the president. So given this history of the last 4 years, this is how the Republicans have tried to kneecap our economy. This is Mitt Romney making his closing pitch. Mitt Romney basically saying, You know, we have prevented for 4 years, we have prevented the President of the United States from accomplishing the things that he wanted to do. Therefore, if you reelect him, we'll continue to prevent him from doing the things he wants to do. So you should elect me, because then the Republican obstructionism will stop. How is that different from the shop owner who owns a little pizzeria in Little Italy in New York City, and the mob guy comes by with a baseball bat in his hand and says, "Hey, nice store you got here. Be a shame if anything happened. Maybe a baseball bat went through the windows or something. You give us $50 a week and we can make sure nothing happens to you, buddy." Here's Mitt Romney making that pitch.
It's within the power of the American people to choose their own future. We know what we need to know. You can stay on the path of the last 4 years, or you can choose real change. You know that if the president is reelected, he will still be unable to work with the people in Congress. I mean, he's ignored them, he's attacked them, he's blamed them. The debt ceiling will come up again, and shutdown and default will be threatened, chilling the economy. The president was right when he said he can't change Washington from the inside. In this case, you can take him at his word. And we're going to put him outside soon.
Strategy, literally since that night, that meeting in the caucus room, when the following members of Congress committed treason against the United States of America, and I realize I'm saying this on the air to 3 million people right now, I defy you. Any of these guys, call into this show, sue me, prove me wrong. Congressman Paul Ryan, you committed treason. Congressman Eric Cantor, Congressman Kevin McCarthy, Congressman Pete Sessions, Jeb Henseling, Pete Hoekstra, Dan Lundgren, Senator Jim DeMint, Senator John Kyle, Senator Tom Coburn, Senator John Ensign, Senator Bob Corker. You violated your oath of office. You swore to each other not to uphold the Constitution of the United States, not to defend the people of the United States and the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, political and foreign and domestic. You decided to become an enemy of the United States domestically. Newt Gingrich, as he left that meeting, said, quote, "You'll remember this as the day the seeds of 2012 were sown." And you just heard Mitt Romney close that circle, wrap that argument. Republican leaders in Congress literally plotting the night that President Obama was being inaugurated in the Caucus Room restaurant right here in Washington, D.C., plotting to bring this country economically to its knees so that a Democratic president would be blamed for it. And they have done their best. They have fought everything. I mean, the president's job bill, which would have put 1 million people to work immediately, a year ago, he proposed this thing. In the House of Representatives, Paul Ryan, Eric Cantor, they wouldn't even bring it up for a vote. Harry Reid brought it up for a vote in the Senate. The Republicans filibustered it. Legislation that Nancy Pelosi, during the 2 years when the Democrats controlled the House, they only controlled the Senate for 2 months and 1 day. And they got a hell of a lot done in those 2 months and 1 day and a little more. The largest middle class tax cut in history, saved Chrysler, saved GM, stopped 800,000 jobs a month from vanishing, increased education spending, got the banksters out of the student loan business, saving $80 billion for more student loans, passed hate crime laws, expanded the Affordable Care Act, the Children's Health Insurance Program, CHIPS, was expanded, child labor laws were enforced, Wall Street reform. They got a lot done.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
But the Democrats controlled the Senate for 2 months and 1 day. And now the Republicans are threatening to kneecap this country again. What do we do about traitors?